fun stuff. All right. Welcome everyone. This is No Bullshit Gaming Podcast 2.5 Gamers session number 60. Sharing actionable insights, dropping knowledge from our day-to-day user acquisition, game design, and ad monetization jobs. Definitely not discussing the latest industry news, but we are having so much fun. Let's not forget, this is 4 a.m. conference discussion vibe, so let's not take it too seriously. It's Jakub over here, Felix, myself, Matej, and we have a special guest, CEO of Cozy Games, Manuel. Hey, so
Hi.
Welcome. We're going to talk about a topic that Remo and Felix keep arguing about, and that's ANRs and crashes. What causes them and how ads are loaded and why is it such a pain and what else, whatever else.
Talk a bit about ASO as well,
Yeah,
right? Maybe we should talk about that.
Yeah. But first, Manuel, why don't you give us a little introduction of yourself? What are you doing?
How do you pronounce your last name?
Yeah, how do you pronounce that last name? Especially that, because it's you said it's challenging.
It is indeed.
It should be okay for us to say it.
Prueter. So it's
okay.
It's obviously like a German word that went through some transitions coming from the Protanian tribe, which was the Prussians, back in the Middle Ages. So somehow it morphed into this name. So just call me Manuel. I'm CEO of Cozy Games. We have one game out since about a year, Gladiator: Survival in Rome, which just now dropped into early access on Steam as well. Yeah, I've worked with Felix together, and that's how we somehow meet. So,
yeah, you don't work with Jakub or me, so I think that's the end of the podcast. Thank you very much. Yeah. We can end here.
Yeah, but I played the game; it's really interesting.
Oh wow! Like, what the fuck is with your mic? So last episode it was really quiet. Now it's like you're fucking shouting.
He doesn't have a boom arm, and he's too cheap to buy one. Even though we have nearly 2,000 subscribers, he still refuses to buy a boom arm.
Boom arm is my arm.
Tell all your friends to subscribe.
Yeah, and your family as well. Have your son subscribed already? Katarina subscribed.
Doesn't have YouTube.
Yeah. Anyway, so I saw the LinkedIn post about Steam launch. Like, why are you so excited about Steam?
Firstly, because it's the first time that we actually launch on Steam.
Okay.
All of us come from the mobile sector, and nowadays you kind of want to have like more cross-platform experience, right? So we need to get our feet wet, and that's basically it. So we need to make it happen and see from own first-party experience how that stuff works there, and not just. It's a free-to-play game on Steam, right?
Yeah.
So that's obviously very, very different from all the buy-to-play products that are hyped up by PR agencies, etc. You do not have PR splashes or whatever. So it's really the dirty thing, the dirty business to try to grow.
Yeah, we love dirty businesses and growing in that way. So I guess we need to have you back on when you have more data to share from Steam as well. It's super interesting.
So are you leaving mobile because mobile is dead?
No. I love mobile. All the doomy and gloomy people. Oh, mobile. No, they are wrong. It's
nice.
Still the biggest platform. Everything what players do is on a whim. They act on emotions, and mobile is way more accessible for this than on PC.
Are you, by the way, considering your own client parallel to Steam in a way to mitigate some of the fees?
Maybe.
Maybe. Yes, but Steam is like it gives you like sort of free visibility.
Agreed.
Which is which is helpful to tinker. I mean, we launched an early access, right? We need to tinker like the control set. The pacing is obviously different from mobile to Steam. You kind of need to strike a good balance there, and pushing out the updates both on mobile and on Steam at the same time. It requires some technical knowledge as well, right? So for us, this is more a learning experience. If it will go tremendously well, okay, be my guest.
Yeah,
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, why not? Also, there's this PC Google Play thing. Android. That could be interesting, which obviously fucks BlueStacks in there.
Oh yeah, BlueStacks, Nox, etc. All of them are crying. Yeah.
Okay,
Wait,
but
wasn't
then
BlueStacks bought at some point by Unity or so?
but no.
Oh no.
I don't think so.
I might be like just hallucinating here.
Yeah, I never heard about that. But we have heard that been called the king of organic downloads. No, jokes aside, I've seen like a lot of your posts on LinkedIn as well, and I even downloaded the game, and it was actually localized in Slovak language on App Store. I was like, oh, okay. So you're definitely involved in any organic types of activities. So any ASO stuff that you can actually share that help you grow organically, because I'm interested in hearing that. So what was your prep for launching the game in terms of the ASO?
So one king of organics, I'm not too sure.
That's that's Felix.
But
It was told to me, like, so yeah, it's not me saying it. It was told to me by a Finn, and then I was okay.
okay.
Yeah, there you go. Nice.
I could guess who. No, I mean, our game has about like 90% organic downloads, right?
Nice.
And so like almost 4 million so far. And the one that I've been involved with before, where I was the sole marketer, it also had like 7 million the first year or so.
Nice.
And the way to think about ASO is first of all you need to split Apple and Google into different beasts, right? So Apple doesn't care about the revenue. Apple cares about the experience on the phone. Apple is ultimately a hardware manufacturer, and they want to sell their hardware. They want to sell the good experience of their hardware. So everything there is geared towards conversion and platform experience, basically. So they care about review score. They care about the conversion from the search term to actually an install. And that's what you optimize there for. On Google, it's a different beast. Google is an ad network. So when you open Google Play today on your Android phone, you will see ads, editorial content like events and whatever, ads, pre-registration, another round of ads, and then at some point come the organics, which are automated app collections. So you cannot, well, you can buy your way into it with Google Ads because Google Ads is the only one who can advertise there. And you should. I mean, Mate explains it needs to be in your mix, and he's absolutely right because it's the front page exposure. But at the same time, Google gives you a lot of opportunity to be like in similar app categories and in these automated app collections and stuff like this. So there you just need to localize your experience and to get into as many auto collection lists as possible that you qualify for. However, Google obviously cares about much more. Right.
And how do you qualify for these auto collections? And also like the similar apps. So there's this rumor, like if you have a certain amount of downloads per, I don't know, a day or something, then you qualify for the similar games type of placement within the organic, which I have no idea if it's true or not.
So I'm not sure if downloads per se play a very big role there. Everything on Google, especially in these automated app collections, is very user-centric or user behavior-centric. So if you play that game and then you get suggested something that is actually similar by gamer stats, meaning is it in the same category? Is it targeting the same sort of keyword cloud? It doesn't need to be the exact keyword, right? So if you're an ASO practitioner now, stop stuffing your text with your competition brand
keywords.
names. It doesn't do much. It's a keyword cloud that Google draws from with machine learning. And then Google loves revenue. I mean, they're a company.
Who would have said that?
So,
I'm surprised. Yeah.
And you know what Google loves more than just revenue? Revenue as quick as possible. So the monetization design needs to be in a way that you monetize your user basically on day 0 or day 1. That's just the way the algorithm works. And then come like app health things. which leads us to the next big topic of today, I guess.
Yeah.
App
It's
health.
a nice segue.
What does Google think is app health?
We're going to start getting into ANRs, aren't we?
We do. It's a very quick, slippery slope here.
Yeah.
So maybe some context I can just give here. So me and Manuel, we worked together on ad monetization. I suggested some ad placements to improve, and you went on this hilarious rant about ad SDKs, crashes, and ANRs. And just to start off, and I'm hoping we can actually repeat that rant and actually record it, but just to start off super simple, like what are ANRs? Like why are ANRs and crashes actually an issue?
Yeah, so what is an ANR, first of all? So ANR means application not responding. That, like in Google's terms, it splits between user-facing ANR, that's the one that is important, and general ANR. We will come to what the difference is. So application not responding basically means the device doesn't react to the input of the user anymore for a certain amount of time. Usually it's around 5 seconds. So that can be prolonged slightly, but 5 seconds is a good thing. So that affects everyone. It's normal that ANR happen on especially older devices because, well, games get just more sophisticated and get just more massive, basically, right? So, and why is that a problem? Because Google set thresholds on how many sessions, what percentage of sessions these ANR or crashes can occur, and this threshold is 0.47%.
Do you know why it's 0.47? Like, or is that just arbitrary?
Yeah,
it's a magic number.
It's the official explanation is if you are above the threshold, you're in the worst 25% of all apps, which is a little bit disingenuous in my view, because you have a lot of apps there that have 10 downloads, 50 downloads, that will never occur, an ANR in there, right? So but everyone who is exposed or more successful in countries that have a lower spec device penetration,
yeah.
So, and then comes the tinfoil hattery, right? I mean, Felix already said I should be, ranting a little bit, but okay, here's a tinfoil hattery. Now, go back to what I said about the Google front page, on the Google Play front page. Ads. Who does not care about ads? About ANR? Ad monetized games? No, not ad monetized games. Ad-driven games. Sorry. So if you have an ad, the user downloads anyway. It does not matter. ANR, however, cause you to drop, if you're above the threshold, drop the visibility in organic rankings. So if you're a bad boy and put a lot of SDKs in, and ad networks really want to have a lot of SDKs, you kind of set yourself up for failure if you are relying on organic traffic in the way that most mid-core games actually do. So for hyper casual, it doesn't really matter. I mean, no one searches for the next
new hyper casual game.
Twerk 3D.
Yeah,
but let's just so that's kind of building up what you said about ad networks, and if you're a bad boy and they crash it, like when it was a big issue for you, but just like technically, just before we get into it, like, can you kind of just explain what happens when a user opens a game and what like the SDK loading process looks like, and how ad networks usually screw that up or can screw that up?
So you have your phone open, you click on the icon or tap on the icon. Then you send a signal basically to the operating system to load a lot of activities. And these activities are like, you have the game engine, you have your analytics SDK, you have your game assets for the first scene, which is why you should not make an open world game in your first scene. Well, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure there.
Your download size will be 10 gigabytes.
Yeah. I mean, especially some Asian developers think like, oh yeah, everyone has just 10 gigabyte free on their phone, right? So, and load everything up on this as an open world game. No, so all these assets need to be loaded, sound, etc. SDKs need to be initialized. Contact the corresponding server, like, hi, I'm here. Please give me an ad to preload. Blah 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 blah. All this kind of stuff. All of that happens in parallel. Foomp. It's like, but you have only a certain amount that a phone can process at the same time. So there you have your first
choke point.
Choke point.
Yeah. Loading time is 10 seconds. It's kind of on the lower scale. If you have like millions of SDKs, it can be like a minute.
So basically, like when you start off the SDKs, they load ads. And I remember you said something about dual core, and sometimes like these SDKs only loaded on one core. Was there something around that as well?
It's about thread. Like you have, of course, like the main thread in Unity that handles a lot of things. I think it's getting a bit too technical for your audience.
Oh, no. Let's go.
Okay.
I want to know. We want to know.
Yeah, I'm not a programmer either. I try to weasel myself out to not give you the absolute.
Yeah. But what happens then when like a user closes a game or app? Like, what's the unloading process like? Because you need to.
I'm jumping ahead a little bit to understand why there's such a big difference. Because if you unload, like all the stuff needs to be unloaded again from your phone and causes some issue. So when you open the app and you have this initialization process of all this stuff, as a programmer, you know that is happening and you can space that out, go from parallel to some sort of sequential ordering, so to speak. You can order SDKs not to load in the first whatever seconds. You can have not an ad placement in your tutorial scene where you have most of the users coming in, right? I know, Felix, it pains you to hear that, and especially for all that ads on app open initiatives that we hear more and more often.
Google pushing the app open ads. Yeah.
Oh God. But as a programmer, basically you have the choice of like how to in which order to load kind of the things. On closing, you don't, and it's not just the closing. Also, like on pause, the most ANRs occur when you tell your app go on pause for various reasons. There's a WhatsApp message coming in. Mommy is calling. You are in the middle of a purchase event, which gives that overlay, so that the game progress stops. You are asked to do a review for the game. Again, the game stops. You have the on pause event in Unity. All I'm talking about is Unity because I have no idea what the hell is happening in Unreal, right? So you, as a developer, however, do not know when these events occur for the most time. You don't know when mommy is calling, right? And the same thing on app closure. You do not know really when that happens. So everything's unloaded at the same time. And it's not just unloading. It's like every SDK is like ET. They want to phone home. The session is ending. Here is the save game needs to be put into the cloud. All these kind of things happen suddenly, and you have then the confirmation. You send it out. You have TCP specs, so it comes back, and for this you need to wait, and all of that just compounds into one big blocking mess. And then the operating system is like, why is this app that is on pause consuming such resources, right? So 5 seconds are gone. Fuck off. No input anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, go away.
Go away.
And that's what ANR essentially is. Now you have some ways to mitigate that. So when you ask a user for a review or for the purchase event, or for instead of the user just swiping the app away, so to speak, so it closes, it uses actually the back button. Then you can make like a confirmation window, and steal a little bit of time, unload something already in this little time that the user needs to, press the button. So
who the fuck presses the back button? Jakub, you are the Android user.
But he uses it on a computer,
Twerk
so like,
3D.
Yeah, true. Okay, you usually swipe anyway.
So,
but true, yeah, you can buy time. Okay,
yeah. So before actually like going into maybe how developers can reduce ANR and crashes, like I'm just wondering, like, why does iOS, like, do they care as much as Google, or is it only Google?
It's only Google.
I never heard about ANRs on iOS.
Exactly.
It doesn't.
Do you know why that is?
You do have crashes, of course, but I'm not sure if app health actually matters in iOS that much, other than generally being maybe considered for featuring or something. You don't want to have crashing
broken
experience,
game.
right?
Yeah, featurings aren't
but in
as
Google
valuable.
It happens, it's definitely part of it.
Yeah. So, okay, let's get to the question here. So what's the best way developers can actually reduce ANRs and crashes? And
I spilled
like,
all
what
the
should you
beans
do?
already.
But what should you do if you're above threshold? Like, I know there's some game developers that don't care about the ANR threshold and they just go nuts, right?
First of all, they should care because they should care for a good user experience, right? That the pride of the programmer should dictate that already to deliver a good product in itself. But ANR, like I said, it matters only if you're above the threshold, if you have organic traffic. Most downloaded apps usually do not care about organic traffic whatsoever. It goes back to the ASO, by the way. You need to think of how do you sell the game to your user? What does the user search for? Typing into the search bar, what image does he have in mind to come to that game? So I'm not sure how the 1000th iteration of any kind of match 3 game would spark a user. Or today, I typing in match 3 and I fully expect a new game to be presented. No, that happens with ads, right? So, and then you bypass the entire problem, so to speak. It really just concerns app developers that rely or want to have organic traffic. What was the question?
Yeah, like how
what people can do.
What we can do.
Right. So, reduce the number of SDKs.
That will make Felix very unhappy.
But SDKs does not just mean ad SDKs, right? It can be.
Well, usually does.
It's usually the biggest amount of them, sure. But sometimes people think, oh no, I need to have 2 sources of truth and implement 2 analytics SDKs, for example. So if you have 2 analytics systems, both of them phone home, right? Both of them on every pause event need to feed the database with any kind of game events. Then you have Firebase as the big elephant in the room, but there's like smaller niche SDKs for Crashlytics, for example. They also record a lot of stuff. And I'm feeling a little bit bad for the Google people, but they brought it on themselves. Firebase, in the last update, prior to the one that is currently live, we excluded Firebase to see what is actually the impact of Firebase itself, of the SDK, because everyone is using Firebase. Turns out our ANR rate dropped by 0.1. And 0.47 is the threshold, right?
Yeah.
So
it's pretty big.
A quarter of ANR is just gone. And we're like, wait, let's BA test that. Put Firebase back in with a recent update. Whoop, it goes back up. And you're like, hey, Google people, what the fuck are you doing?
Me? Yeah.
It's like, I mean, there's...
It's amazing.
I don't know. God knows how many people. Find the smart ones, fix that shit. It's like crazy how they come up with a threshold. Then
25%
just don't optimize the product. And the second biggest offender in terms of SDKs, sorry for name dropping, but it's Google Ads. It's the Google Ads SDK.
The AdMob SDK.
Yeah. Exactly. So you're like, how the hell is the one that defines the rules is also the one that makes it really hard to actually adhere to the rules? Wow. It's like insane to me. I love Google. They earn us the money, basically, right? They give us the visibility. I just don't really, understand how these products are not that optimized in such a big organization, and that affects so many developers.
What's
they
your
could
theory?
make so much more money, essentially, if they just fix their shit.
What's your theory on that? Why do you think that is? Is it really hard to write SDKs, or is it really boring, or what is it? Yeah.
It's tinfoil time there. It's like
I love it. Yeah, let's do it.
Maybe. So first of all, again, Google is a very big corporation, and in a corporate environment, approval processes are crazy. People are getting, promoted every 2 years, are not very familiar with the product, or stuff like this happens. But then there's also, if your half of your front page of the store is fed by AdMob, and you make money off this, and their ANR do not matter, I leave you guessing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Right?
Like, if you ask,
I do not believe this is intentional. I honestly do not believe this is intentional. It's just there is no real incentive inside to
matter of
fix
priority.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at Google Groups, every developer under the sun already has a complaint about this, and only receives blah blah from first level support, and nothing is ever being done about it, right? On the contrary, ad networks are incredibly quick to acknowledge, okay, here's something wrong with the adapter, here's something wrong in the SDK. We see what you mean, and thanks for the Crashlytics, etc. We will roll out an update very, very soon.
That's what I usually tell the people I work with, because usually ad networks, they always reach out oh, we have a new SDK, it's going to improve performance, you need to update it right away. Never do it in the first week. You're taking the risk then, because sometimes you update it and it's just causing crashes. There was an issue with a Unity SDK a couple of weeks ago, and then you couldn't close rewarded ads, and it's oh, sorry. Yeah.
Amazing, great experience.
You could not, or they just wanted to spike their CTR.
No, I don't know.
Hard to say.
Hard to say, right?
Yeah. No, I want to say, if you tell some developers out there, hey, so do you know what ANR is? Or maybe marketing people, no, they have no idea.
Yeah.
They have no idea.
Yeah.
Just to give you the severity of this. So around the time, 2 months after launch, so we were clocking in at 25,000 downloads a day, and we implemented the ad stack. Before, we only had Unity unmediated because
because someone with Felix told you, oh well, you should put more.
I do not confirm or deny these allegations. So in April, end of April, we implemented all these networks, put it on AppLovin Max, etc. So virtually the day that thing went live, we crashed from 25,000 downloads a day down to 15,000. Next day down to 10,000. It's boom, and it's like a perfect cross. ANR up. And however, now the problem is, if you want to get back to glory land, below the threshold, etc., the rolling average is what counts, right? So you need to have 30 days of, be a good boy, prove that you are not, and only then you regain slowly the visibility.
That's so frustrating because, it's based on the average, right? You said you're 25% of the worst offenders. That's based on an average. And for 30 days, that's,
it is really hard. It is hard. I mean, it's great for UA managers. They have more jobs to do then.
I'm not complaining. I'm fine.
Maybe Maciej is behind all of this.
Yeah.
So if you put on the tinfoil hat, you think it's actually on purpose so they can spend more money on the UA networks?
Well, I don't know anything about the ANRs.
I can confirm or deny.
Buy some new users then if you lost your organics.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, from a platform point of view, it's not too far off to think that way, that there is some sort of disincentive, let's put it this way, to treat this problem as super high priority. If you can, not only make the inner purchase revenue, but also make the ad revenue. Right? So,
Okay.
So, you also talk to me a lot about Slowcode and like what happens if you have Slowcode combined with like ad SDKs. Like, can you talk a bit about the effect?
Wait. What is Slowcode?
Well,
let's start with that.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Exactly, Felix. What does it mean? You probably mean like unoptimized code.
Yes, exactly. Unoptimized code.
Right.
Yeah.
So things that happen that makes your device slow, essentially.
Okay.
So a lot of when we are blaming SDKs here, etc. This is not everything. Like programmers can also be fucking lazy, and artists can be, just creating scenes with ultra high poly or whatever, and all of that matters. So you need to look at home first. What can you do there? And use the really, really good tools that Unity actually provides for performance and memory analytics. So it will give you a lot of hints what you can do. If you never ran these tools, do it now and you will be surprised. You will be surprised how amazing your tech stack is. So,
all right. Okay.
Definitely do that first before, I do not, you cannot run around with 2%, 3%, 5%. I saw even from, some friends ANR rate, and then like, Google. No, my friend. This is,
wait.
This is on you. Yeah.
So I think we're 30 minutes in now. So now time for the $1 million question. Probably why we also invited you, because this is the question Remo have been fighting about for 6 months. This is the $1 million question, right? Okay. We argued at length about this. How hard is it to add a new ad network SDK?
No bullshit version.
Yeah, no bullshit version, please, because
Well, it depends on which ad network.
No.
Yeah. Okay. How? In terms of actual difficulty, almost zero. I'm pretty sure that any kind of experienced admon person even could do it himself, because all the ad networks provide code snippets, and most of the time you even just connect it to the mediation adapter, right? So
all right, end of episode. Let's finish there.
It's literally a tick of the box. However,
now comes my part.
Oh no!
So where's my popcorn?
Some networks make you jump through hoops to even get signed up, and you get like a response from their BizDev team, after some time, and then you need to be given credentials for the platform, etc. So that takes time, and it is sometimes more the smaller ones, granted, or the Google Ad Manager networks usually have this kind of process. But more importantly, it's also like a business thing. So if your ad revenue is, let's say, not where some of the recently discussed on this pod games level, but more like what the broad strokes basically in the story is, right? So you have an accounting thing. For every single source of income, you need to account it for every month. You need to, make your VAT declaration. You need to do all of this. It's just creating additional headache. You have the business point of view, do you really want to complexify your stack with ANR impacting SDKs, etc., for another $100 or $200? I'm not sure about that. If you risk something and then risk, losing organic traffic on the other side, that's a very, very big decision. Full disclosure, Felix asked me, implement this, implement that. And I'm like, let's hold our horses here a little bit. Simply because of these, the difficulty is on the business side. It's not on the actual implementation side.
Yeah.
Once you have a mediation service, whichever your preferred one is.
what I heard as well, like Mintegral has this thing when you have a monthly revenue, you need to go to the the tool.
You need to go to the dashboard.
Claim,
every month to claim the money.
And when they send when they send you the email, you need to do it in 24 hours. If you don't do it, then it's gonna be for next month revenue.
True. Fiber does the same.
Seriously,
it's like you have 48 hours.
Yeah.
Wangel, I'm not quite sure if we ever claimed the. Wangel, please send me my money.
Yeah, please. If you listen, please send Manuel his money.
Because it was so little amount basically, and we kicked it off at that point.
Yeah, it's different amounts for different networks.
Right. Yeah.
Like everything from $250 to $1,000.
Yeah. So that it just creates complexity, really.
So Felix, you basically need to project the additional potential money, and then you can see like, oh well, this is interesting, and this is actually worth us implementing that SDK.
I think we've had a couple of these discussions as well when I was working with you, right, Manuel? Like, we had a couple of those. Like,
maybe let me offer a little bit of a different view how I see it.
Okay.
I think
I haven't asked you anything.
let me just go a little bit. So
he was sitting there for 30 minutes waiting for his time.
No. So what Manuel said is great in this utopistic reality when even Felix can implement the SDK immediately because he can do the snippets and everything. It works just like charm. But in real world, this is done by programmers. And programmers are usually doing features on your team, which means you need to pretty much shoot yourself in the foot and slow down your feature pipeline because you're offsetting the programmers to now do the dirty SDKs that Felix wanted, and you won't get your update as soon as you want it. So this is usually the case, in my opinion, when I was talking with the teams, that somebody from the programming team, which they probably don't like at all because they never either done it before if you don't have it, or they hate it to do it because they want to get back to their features, whatever they were coding before, and they need to dedicate their time to do it, and then something doesn't work suddenly. And the process gets more and more complicated. So they start to talk with these third-party sites, with Iron Source, with everyone, and troubleshoot the whole thing. And something is now 2 weeks from 3 days, and so on and so forth. So this was for me the biggest problem.
Do you agree with that?
You should get more senior
This is real. This is real.
This is reality, not that utopistic thing that Felix will code in your SDKs.
Yeah.
Never said I could. I'm a blonde boy. I can't code.
I mean, it's like a management thing, right? I mean. You come to your most paid price horse in the stable of staff. I mean, programmers usually are relatively far up, and you tell him implement this. Okay, first time he does it, then you come to him, disable this, and he's like, "Am I working for the paper bin or what is this?" It's there's a natural rejection of bullshit task, basically. If you do not know the outcome of anything, the first time you get away with it, the second time you have a lot of convincing to do that this actually is a good idea.
Yeah, and only then comes the problems, and you're now the culprit of those problems because you force your programmers to put shit into your game that's now crashing and making community riled up and everything.
It always crashes. It doesn't always happen. Like it's not like
only
it's
90%.
An exception. Yeah,
90% of the time.
I can imagine there were dozens of daily meetings on each month. The game is crashing again. Oh yeah, it's this SDK. We'll kick it out.
Well, but Jakub, you should then educate your programmers why is this a good idea and how much money it can.
I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just saying that in real world it works like this. It doesn't work like that utopistic version.
Now we are recording this, so you can show the video around. We shown both sides, all right? It's like,
do you currently exclude any devices from showing ads completely because they're just not good enough to see ads?
Yes. So first of all, you should anyway maintain a healthy device exclusion list on Google Play for just games that cannot realistically run your game well. Instead of dumbing down the experience for everyone, it's better to just kick out most of the older devices, and then you can set up either direct exclusion lists, even in terms of UA. You can target just Android 12, as Matej I think suggested last time.
Yep.
Or you can make in some platforms you can even make device exclusion lists, and you can do it like by programming, right? You just do not show that there is an ad available for a user that runs a device that meets the device criteria in general, but is known, to be coming from a device that is really really bad. So since everyone gets their share of name calling today, I also want to shout out to Xiaomi that never updates their own device catalog on OS with the newest web view version. So when you look into the device analytics, out of the top 20 devices that are culprits of ANR, the highest winners on this list, not really winners, are Xiaomi devices. Redmi, directly Xiaomi. I think Poco belongs to those. And that's even like flagship models from like 3 years ago that theoretically do have enough RAM. But so WebView is Felix, do you know what WebView is? What it does?
I don't know.
Okay, so when you call an ad basically in the game, you stream it basically in, right? And that happens inside so-called well, it's like a browser on your phone. So at the browser version, if that is not updated, you call on some older browser version that needs to now enter some compatibility mode to stream the content of the ad into your phone. So the more there's a discrepancy of the origin. It's like when you stream, right? You deliver in a certain bit rate and
Stone Age version of browser.
yeah, you see and that's the same thing that happens there, and that causes lockups, that causes ANRs, right? Because it needs a lot of buffering in between and stuff like this. So and it is not in the interest of smartphone makers to update Android components. However, the game developers cannot, from their app, call to update basically an OS component, operating system component. Right? So if they run an older WebView version, you cannot educate your user to do that. I mean, you can go to your user and say, if you have problems with ads, go into the Google Play Store, search for WebView, and update that version, please. Sure, you can do that. However, realistically, users come to play; they do not come to maintain their device, right?
Nobody will do that. Yeah,
and then you have some sort of incentive of the smartphone makers that at some point they just discontinue the support for a certain OS version. And if the user does not upgrade that OS version to the newest one, you're stuck basically with that users. So all we can do as developers is then basically target those and say, no ads for you, sir.
No ads for you, sir. Yeah, no rewards.
For you, sir.
Yeah, no rewards.
I guess we already did a bit of naming and shaming. You said Google was...
Go and buy ad blocking, in the game.
Yeah.
So you get the rewards, but don't have to endure the ad.
Yeah.
Everyone should do that anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That should always be an SKU you should sell as an IAP, in my opinion. But so you already named and shamed Xiaomi, named and shamed Google. Any other SDKs that you want to name and shame that you think is the worst, or any horror stories you want to shame? Like, now is a good time to get it off your chest.
I love all of them.
Okay.
All of them somehow make money for us, somehow help us, pay our dear employees, help, create game experience. So I come not from a place of hate. I come with a call to pay attention to this. This is a real problem, right? This is what needs to be understood. Everyone is generally trying their best usually, and if it's just a thing out of focus or you don't have the context, then it's good to be reminded sometimes to do something. So, but I would think the ones that I named are the ones that are most impactful. We are currently investigating a little bit more into Unity, so we exclude Firebase and use Embrace as analytics stack. It's a little bit more detailed. So we look at all the threads, and we make basically captures of what happens on a technical side just before like an ANR happens, just before a crash happens. And then you get some good idea of how to space out things, how to mitigate things. And ultimately it's sorry, Felix, show less ads has quite some impact. However, that being said, most of these devices come from countries that, let's say, make not that much of a difference to your ad ARPU.
Is also the fact that you have an open world game where you have quite a lot of like things being loaded also part of the issue, right?
Sure. Yeah, that definitely plays a role.
Okay.
But I mean, you can have a small scene. You can have like a very closed world and have just unoptimized art. That's why I said earlier, do your homework first, right? Look where you can optimize your own assets, your own whatever you load into the game. Just strip it off the SDKs and make a test version and let it run a little bit, ideally in soft launch, and look how
ideally
your
in
game
soft launch,
bare bones, right?
Yeah. And how do you structure like the team capacity around implementing and also upkeeping the maintenance of SDKs? Like, is that the programmers or QA, or like how do you go about that in Colossi?
So the real thing is about programming work here. The QA can, given the task, investigate this close and try to force himself into situations where on the device this thing would occur. So you will have a number of test devices that are really on the lower end of the spectrum to make it happen. But ultimately, normally QA people just report something that a programmer then needs to fix anyway. And the programmer usually needs to be smart enough to understand what happens in which order inside the code and by the user journey, how to fix things. But senior QA people might be able to even tackle some of the things
I
themselves,
work within that team that was exactly doing like this. That senior QA people were able to handle like 90% of these things. Only afterwards the programmer was called.
Yeah.
Remo, do you want to ask the last question? I know you're very keen on this one about capacity.
You mean the choosing one?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. So the question is, if you had to choose, would you implement either a new SDK or put the capacity into a new game feature? Why and when, and what would be the factors that are, forcing your decision?
Money.
Yes.
Great answer.
No, but it's like,
it is. I mean,
how do you pay?
No,
how
no
do you
bullshit
fucking
here.
pay the salaries? Yeah, how do you pay the salaries? Yeah, with the retention is always like this. Like, let's not go there.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Come on, this is a real question that every business owner or product manager, whatever, producer needs to answer. Like, the feature that I am currently advocating and harassing everyone, to approve this, etc. Does that bring money to the company? Does that advance the game significantly? Not just first order, but also like in terms of second order effects, right? Like if that feature only that feature enables other stuff, versus tinkering around with ANR, then it's like it's a gamble. Right. If you ever fix ANR, it's a gamble. Maybe you will never drop below the magical threshold unless you sacrifice all your ad revenue, which makes your admon person very, very unhappy, probably.
Probably fires him, to be honest, as well.
Yeah, but I wouldn't care if he's unhappy if the game makes more money on IIPs and have more organics.
Absolutely.
Then
What if the admon has 3 kids to feed?
That's not. Yeah,
That's not my problem.
Yeah, that's not my problem. It's unfortunate, but like he or she will find another job wherever he is necessary.
Yeah.
It also has a little bit to do with like capacity of the people that you have access to. Actually, is right. Like if someone never did a certain feature, you are kind of maybe pick the low hanging fruits first.
Yeah,
especially if your runway is in danger somehow. Yeah.
But I would say like the feature side of it is pretty much the same regarding the risk, because you implement a lot of features, retention move shit, revenue move shit. It took you 2 months, and so what?
Yeah.
Maybe that SDK was a better option after all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's that's your decision to make. You always have
exactly.
a set of information that you can make the decision based on, and that's what you do.
It's already a luxury that you can choose.
Yeah,
to be honest.
that's true.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you have put out a game that, by all best estimations, will never do anything, because it's in the wrong genre, because it's you do not have the right people that care about distribution, meaning UA people. You do not have enough capacity in your economics design. Maybe you just build a free-to-play multiplayer 10 versus 10 shooter game. Well, good luck, my friend. If you just raise 2 million on VC money, well, the VC can already write that off as soon as he wired that money out. But I mean, this is reality, and then that studio has to deliver, right? They got the 2 million for this thesis. We can make it happen. Yeah, you will not. Because your problem is the marketing. Your problem is your unmonetizable real-time content in PvP. Because otherwise, pay to win is the death of any kind of multiplayer game. And then arguing, should we implement an ad SDK or
it doesn't even matter.
It doesn't matter, actually. It doesn't matter to go deeper. So if you have the luxury to choose, do I release a new map or like that or like live ops event or whatever that will probably make this amount of money, or you have an ad network that, according to best estimations of your admon person, will deliver another 10%. Well, that's a
your
monetary
best
value.
admon person will give you decimals, 10.45% always.
I wish.
Always. Yeah.
I wish.
Oh.
Ooh. I think with with that in mind, I think that's it.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Thank you so much for coming. This was great.
No problem.
Yeah, I will ask Felix on. Yeah, I will ask Felix on Saturday, like, what are his takeaways.
I can actually, as bonus content for viewers of this, I can drop a link in under the video, or you put it in the show notes.
Yeah, put in the show notes.
Of a GitHub discussion that is actually done by my CTO, right?
Oh, nice. Nice.
So there is a lot of actually data from us regarding ANR and traces, etc., where other developers have chipped in already, and there's been some information.
Oh, that'd be great, please. Yeah.
So and some attempts on how to solve things. So
nice.
Sounds super constructive.
Yeah, even better.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Thanks, Manuel, for coming. Thank you, everybody who listened to the episode, and please keep subscribing. I guess we are very close to 2,000 subscribers overall, which is amazing. We don't care about the numbers, but it's kind of good to know that you actually like it. Thank you. Until next time. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.